Hi, my name is Chris Francis and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and you are a beginner photographer and you want to improve your photography, why not hit that notification bell and join the community here on this channel. So today we're talking about what camera is right for you. As a photographer walking around on the street, I'm always being asked, what kind of camera am I using? Which is a fair point because people are curious. And also, I get asked all the time, I want to be a photographer, I want to learn photography, what camera should I buy? This is a very common mistake that we ask, what camera shall I buy? Because that is so subjective and it's down to personal taste. Asking which camera shall I buy to a photographer, it seems to be a natural thing to do. However, that's just like asking a car driver, what car shall I buy? So, for example, if you turned up to a car dealership and you said, what kind of car should I get? You'd have to understand the types of car that there are out there. For example, do you want to get a saloon, a 4-door, a 3-door? Do you want a hatchback, or do you want a MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle? Or do you want a SUV, a sports utility vehicle? Or do you want a coupe? Do you want a black car, a white car? What type of car depends on the usage you want for the car. That's exactly the same for what type of camera. It depends on what you want to use the camera for. So let's have a quick overview of the main types of camera that are out there. And they come in 4 different categories. There's the compact camera, there's the bridge camera, there's the mirrorless camera, which is all the rage these days, and there is the DSLR. I always find that hard to say, single lens reflex camera. So let's have a quick look at each one of them individually. So the compact camera, these were used a lot in the 90s. They're a small camera, they can fit in your pocket, and they have you may have seen them, they have those retractable lenses that go out when the camera is powered. And when the camera is powered off, the lens retracts. There are a few drawbacks when it comes to this type of camera because of the size. And because of the size, it just means that the sensor inside of the camera is very small. So they're not very good in low light situations. If you're a beginner photographer and you're looking at compact cameras, then the low budget cameras, I would say you'll grow out of that very quickly. And I don't think you'll be able to grow as a photographer, as many of the settings are automatic. So they're very good for going on holiday, a quick point and shoot, snap a few photos. However, if you want to get the benefit from a compact camera, then you're looking really at a higher end camera, still compact. However, if you're starting out, I know some of the mobile phones are way better than the low budget compact cameras. So the bridge camera sits in between the compact camera and the mirrorless and the single lens reflex cameras. Bridge cameras are a good alternative when it comes to photography. The bridge cameras are bigger than the compact cameras, and in fact, they hold nicely in the hand. Still a fixed lens, but normally the lens is a lot bigger and the zoom on them are quite good. However, because of the size of the lens and the size of the aperture, they're not very good when it comes to low level performance. So in low light inside or in the evenings or at night, they're not very good in producing good acceptable images without introducing too much noise. So this type of camera, I guess, is aimed at the individual who doesn't really want to develop as a photographer, who just want to take the occasional nice photos of families and going on holiday and want something more substantial than just a compact camera. there are some very nice bridge cameras. Go to a photography shop, hold a few, play with a few, and see if it's the right fit. So next in the lineup is the very, very popular mirrorless system. And as the name suggests, they don't have a mirror inside of the camera. This has an advantage because the camera can now be a lot smaller. So if you like your cameras to be small, if you like your cameras to be light, then maybe the mirrorless system is the one for you. Because it doesn't have a mirror, it means that when you look at the viewfinder or the back of the screen, you're seeing the exact image that the sensor is capturing. So it can take very quick photos. It's very good at focus, and a lot of them have the touch screen at the back. So there's no need to actually press the traditional trigger on top of the camera. Because the image is projected to the back of the screen and also to the eyepiece, it means the camera is using more power. And often in the crop sensor bodies, it uses a lot of power. So if you go for this type of system, the battery power is less efficient with these type of bodies. You also find in this type of camera that it's very good for video because what you see is what you get. And if you change the aperture, if you change the exposure, you can instantly see it at the back of the screen. So when you press the button, that is what you capture. So this camera might be for you if you like small, lightweight equipment. This might be for you. That's another thing to consider. So now we come to the fourth and final type of camera in camera types, and that is the DSLR, the single lens reflex camera. Unlike the mirrorless camera, these cameras are noticeably a bit bigger and a bit heavier, simply because the mirror and the prism within the body of the camera. And these work by looking through the camera, through the lens. And the only time the sensor is exposed is when you press the release button, the mirror flips up, exposes light onto the sensor, the mirror closes, and you have the perfect exposure. Well, you hope you have the perfect exposure. Unlike the mirrorless system, the sensor is only exposed at the point where you press the shutter button. Two things are happening. Light goes into the camera, onto the mirror, and then it reflects up into the prism, into the eyepiece, so you can see what your lens is seeing. Me personally, I like a bigger camera because I've got bigger hands and I like to feel the weight of the camera body with the lens. I find it's way more stable. There is a wide range out there, even in the crop sensor arena. Some have tilted screens, some have screens that tilt right out. And like their counterparts, the mirrorless systems, you can also do video. I think if you're considering doing photography and you want to be an all-rounder, then consider what your camera is going to be doing. So it might be advantageous getting a camera that's also good at doing video. Most modern cameras do both things. Whether they do both things equally as well, that's a different matter. But most cameras do video and still photography. So as you can see, there is a lot to consider when it comes to photography. So the question again is not what camera should I get? The question should be what type of photography do I want to do? I hope this video has been of help to you, and if this is your first time joining the channel, why not press the subscribe button and join the family and the community here on this channel, learning to be better photographers. In the meantime, stay safe and of course, happy shooting.